So Tucker might be referring to some corporate Democrats, etc. But anybody that watches the Young Turks knows we criticize big business plenty.
Good for you. Good for you.
Good for you. Yeah. Good for you. And so I mean, to use the same Apple example, Apple makes a nice phone. I have one, but that doesn't mean they should pay 0% in taxes. And they
exactly. Let me just amen.
Yes. And so they evade taxes all the time. And if you want to get together and enforce the law against big businesses, I'm right there with you. Okay? So that would be wonderful. That would be a nice change from what we have in the Republican and Democratic Party today. But one more thing on immigration, Tucker. So
just stop right there. Hey, we're in agreement. Cenk, and I know it's not Cenk, it's Cenk. But I like to call him Cenk because he likes to make fun of other people and, you know, play around playfully with other people's names. Just like I say, it's not the Young Turks, it's the Young Jerks. Anyways, let's continue with Cenk.
You say demographic change is scary and can be disconcerting. And I think that a lot of people don't see that. I don't see it. A lot of people in our audience don't see it. And so they wonder why folks are so scared. And so I literally don't know the answer to that. If you're saying crime, it's not crime, as we talked about before. I can give you more stats, 110% increase in immigration since 1980. Crime in the country has gone down 36%. Okay, and in the cities where you have the most undocumented immigrants, you have the least amount of crime. And in fact, studies have taken out other factors, including poverty, and they still see that undocumented immigrants lead to less crime, not higher crime.
But Cenk, they're still committing the crime. Statistics lie and liars figure. I don't give a damn about the statistics, whether, it's native-born Americans that are committing crimes or illegal aliens that are committing crime. If native-born Americans are committing crime, at least they're legally allowed to be here. We will deal with that through the criminal justice system. We don't need to add illegal aliens committing crimes, even one of them. The blood on the hands is on the government. It's on people like you that say, let them come in illegally. Don't give me statistics. As I said before, statistics lie and liars figure.
Okay, so that's just a fact. That's a fact. So then I don't know what you're scared about. And Tucker, look, you're against...
Scared about an illegal alien coming in here, robbing me, robbing my family, robbing my wife, raping people, killing people, mugging people, assault and battery, stealing, drugs. That's what we're afraid of, Cenk. You want me? How much more can I go down the list?
As far as I can tell, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you call chain migration, what others call family migration. And so that is, as you acknowledge, the majority of legal migration. You're also against the lottery, and you do the math on that, and you've eliminated 85% of legal immigrants. But the country is massively, as you just stated, in favor of immigration. So if you're against undocumented immigrants and you're against legal immigrants and you cite fear and demography, can you see why people then would be concerned that it's racial and not based on crime or any other legitimate factor?
Before we get there, again, Cenk's making his points, talking about that. That's fine. Give the statistics. Say what you want. I doubt some of those statistics are true because, like I said, you can always manipulate statistics in order to favor whatever point you're trying to make. But again, when Cenk is talking about this thing here is that, listen, he went back to the well again. Demographics, which means, it's a dog whistle for bigotry, for racism, for this, for that, and throwing it back to Tucker in terms of this. All I would basically have to say to Cenk is that, listen, it doesn't matter in terms of what the issues are about illegal aliens. They should not be here in the first place. That's where the problem starts, right then and there. Then when you talk about chain migration and the lottery, why should we have a lottery? Chain migration, I think myself, the family should be limited to your mother and father, and that's it. Once your mother and father are here, if they still have children that are back home, they can apply for their children. But this uncle and aunt and grandmother and grandfather and, my third cousin from my fifth brother's nephew's sons, daughters, side or whatever. No. Change migration. A lottery. No. Anyways, let's continue and see what Tucker has to say.
I guess. I mean, in my case, I mean, I don't want to be defensive or anything. I don't think I really am very defensive, but I don't actually think that there's a real, I mean, look, I sincerely appreciate this because I like an actual adult debate with a smart person about this, but I see that so rarely. Instead, I see people coming to the conversation convinced of their own virtue.
Yes.
And you don't actually, so it's a very simple way to write people off. I'm grateful for a chance to say in public what I really think about the effects of change. I think it's really disconcerting. And let me just make a point that is too rarely made. And that is that if you have a big diverse country like this, 320 million people, no majority of anything, right, in the country, and you're running it, or you're sort of trying to seek and influence people who run it, like you and I are, then you really have to think about, like, what are the most important questions? Do countries hang together just through inertia just because they do? No, they don't, actually. Countries tend to sort of break apart. They spin out into component parts. It's, you know, it's the story of history. And so what do you need in a country where no overwhelming majority has really anything in common? Well, what you need is a unifying culture, actually. A set of ideas. This is very obvious. This is not like, you know what I mean? This is not applied physics, okay? It's super simple. It's true in your life. If you have, like, nothing in common with your spouse, does it make your marriage stronger? Like, we don't speak the same language. We love each other more. You know, please. It's not true of businesses or military. It's not true of anything because it's just not true. So it's not an insurmountable problem. And we've had this. This is not the first time we've thought about this in the history of the country. We thought about it a lot. During the Progressive Era, what do we all have in common? And at the time we decided, well, we have our founding documents, the Bill of Rights, we have patriotism, we have English. And so those are the and I think it's sort of perfectly great set. Maybe you've got other ideas, okay?
How about the flag? How about the national anthem? How about the Pledge of Allegiance? All right. I mean, those are just a few of the other things. God, you know, how about those things, right? I mean, those are other unifying factors. Can we at least identify and say that we can rally around those issues as well?
The point is not what are those things. The question is you must have those things.
Yes.
And if you don't, you're going to break apart. And maybe not now, but at some point you will, because why wouldn't you? So I would argue that the very idea of multiculturalism is insane as an organizing principle of a country. Not because I'm against, not because I'm against other cultures. My favorite thing is to travel and go to different cultures. I think they're super interesting, and a lot of them are great, maybe some better than ours. That's not the point I'm making. I'm saying as an organizing principle of your country, you need to have a common culture. Another word for a collective set of beliefs. And I sincerely think, just based on being a lot of places around the world, that language is a key part of that. And that used to be, you keep referring to our earlier big wave, the industrial wave of immigration that we had. The key thing that we demanded was fluency in English. Key.
Yes.
Not because we were English chauvinists. English is not a racial category. It's a language shared by people of all kinds of different cultures. It's the language of Nigeria, okay? It's just a language. But language is the thing that holds more than anything else. And ask anybody who grew up in a multilingual country, how about a Canadian, not that far away, what happens when you have competing languages? You have inherently division. This is not, slow down, this is not a Republican or Democrat or right-wing or left-wing issue. It's a total common sense issue that has been obscured for reasons I honestly don't understand, maybe by demagogues on both sides, but it doesn't matter, it's true. So if you're going to have huge country-changing...
Big Pharma hates when you do this, but they can't do a damn thing about it. These shoes are sending pain-relieving signals from your brain to your body in the blink of an eye. By using a modernized form of acupressure, they relieve back pain and knee pain, making you feel like you're walking on clouds. They're already been sold out multiple times on Amazon, in Walmart, and all those other big box stores because it's been a top recommendation from pain specialists. And now the company behind it is cutting out the middlemen after selling over 2 million units in the last 90 days, all without those big retailers who just jack up the price tag. It's called Grounded Footwear, and here's the kicker. They were originally designed by Dr. Feinberg, a decorated Army flight medic. This guy wanted to help retired veterans enjoy more pain-free movement. Then, almost by accident, he found a solution in an ancient Chinese medicine journal. Dr. Feinberg discovered that by applying pressure to specific acupoints on the feet, pain throughout the entire body could be alleviated. So he created a unique type of shoe that relieves all types of body pain, allowing veterans to walk longer distances without discomfort. But now it's finally available to the public. And trust me, it's flying off the shelves faster than you can imagine. They're using a modernized form of acupressure, which is an ancient healing technique that is now making a big comeback. By using unique insoles that target 12 large acupoints, providing pain relief, they're allowing you to walk comfortably all day, every day, which is something that's never been done before. Now these shoes have been featured on Fox News.
Levels of immigration, and we do, you need to make absolutely certain that everybody of every color and every religion is united in at least something beginning with language. Duh.
And that's what we call nationalism. That's what we call nationalism. Can we all agree that the United States of America is the best country, the number one country, absolutely bar none, to live in the entire planet and the entire globe, entire universe? That's unifying. First of all, the flag, unifying. The pledge, unifying. A national anthem, unifying. The founding fathers, unifying. Founding documents, unifying. Constitution, unifying. Bill of Rights, unifying. Belief in God, having faith, unifying. Those are the things. Liberty, freedom, pursuit of happiness, unifying. That's what we're talking about. Anyways, let's continue.
No, Steve, sorry. Yeah. So I think this goes to the core of the issue, and I think this is a really interesting conversation. And so, look, on English, I might not be as doctrinarian as you think. I came here with not knowing any words. I knew 3 English words. When I was, how old were you? I was 8 years old, and I knew yes, no, and girl. That's it. And they threw me into the deep end, and I did not do English as a second language, and you pick it up quickly. And so I get that we have to have a unifying language. India has a unifying language. It's also English. And so I think that there's a reasonable way to do that. I don't think that you have to throw everybody into the deep end, especially if they didn't come at the age of 8. And everybody has a different perspective, and there's a way of easing into that. But when we talk about culture, well, America's culture is not unicultural. It is, by definition, multicultural. That is our culture. So, I mean,
we're playing semantics with words here, but I would say that America is many cultures brought together. That's what they call the melting pot. And those cultures that come together, bit by bit, different pieces of culture have been taken and now become part of the American culture, because we are the United States of America. We're not the United States of the world, United States of Japan, or United States of the Middle East, or United States of Russia, or the United States of, whatever other country you want to talk about. We're the United States of America. And so we have many cultures, and we've taken bits and pieces from those cultures and, like I said, put them together to form an American culture.
Look at all the things that we consider really American. Pizza, Italian, right? Jazz, African American, and I can go on and on, especially in the food category. So, and you famously, Tucker, the other day said that tacos are American and not Mexican.
Yes, they are. That's the point.
Yes.
We brought them in. They're part of American culture now. That's the point.
But Tucker, that's my point. But think about it, Tucker, that we brought all those things in, and they are now part of our multicultural culture.
Okay, so look, perhaps we're having a debate over word definitions, or perhaps my verbosity has obscured what I'm really trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is, if you have a country, any country, particularly a huge and complex country like ours, there's no unifying fact, okay? Most countries have, settle down for a second, I'll be right there. you know what I mean? Like that is potentially a vulnerability for us. I don't think it needs to be, but we need to address it thoughtfully. You have to have, of course, I'm totally opposed to stamping out anybody's culture, telling anyone what to believe. I'm just saying the very most obvious thing, which you must have something in common with everyone else in your country, or why would you be a country? And if you don't think that, you haven't thought about it very much. That's all I'm saying.
But this is a great conversation.
Anyways, folks, just to basically say that, again, in this round here, I guess you would probably call it, I would say it's sort of like a tie. They both got their points of view across. They, again, with the immigration debate, now crossing into language and English and whatever. I think, Cenk acquiesced a little bit to Tucker, saying that he's probably not that demonstrative or in terms of, on the language part, because like he said, when he was 8 years old, he came in here, he had to be, thrown into the deep end and learn English, basically. But Tucker's point that you have to have unifying, something unifying your country, images, documents, symbols, music, food, some things that you take from, bits and pieces from other things, and then you make it into your own. And so what you want to call that multiculturalism, or, many cultures, or a mix of cultures, melting pot. Again, as he said, it's probably just word definitions and semantics. Overall, I think that was great. I think they both got their points across. Again, if you're on one side or the other, you're going to say that my guy got his points across more than the other one. Understandable. We appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your guest host. My name is Dr. Nasir. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. What do you got to lose? Hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Comment below. Let us know what you think. Do you think that Tucker got his points across more? Did Cenk do it? Who won? Who lost? Let us know. We'd love for you to share your thoughts on that. And I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.